I want to walk you through in today's video basically how I went from fluctuating in basically the 5-figure months, not really being able to scale past it. I was working 12-hour days. I was doing everything myself. I had 0 team members. My content was stagnant. My followers were actually going down, and I was confused why I wasn't able to grow because I thought that I knew how. This is what my business was looking like just a few months ago. And in this short time of just a few months, I was able to go from that to now hitting $105,000 a month cash collected in the month of February. We were hitting 20K days. I'm delegating my tasks. I now have an A+ editor, an A+ editor. I'm soon getting on 3 more team members as well. I've tripled my followers, going from 9K to 27.3K. We're actually now at 27.9, I believe, just about to actually hit 28,000 followers. 100% close rate in February. Clients hitting record months, going from 0 to multiple 5 figures in 1 month. And past industry leaders asking for advice, as well as other people simply just asking me how I did it. So I want to walk you through the 3 shifts that really allowed me to scale to such a point, and doing this in a record amount of time. So the first thing that I really want to cover is the shift of content. Content was by far the biggest shift that I've made with my entire business, and the biggest shift you can make that will allow you to scale to such a degree in such a short amount of time. With content alone, I tripled my followers because of it. I got millions of views, 1,000 inbounds in the month of February. Content became my strength instead of my weakness, and I had industry leaders and other people actually copying my content. The biggest shift that actually allowed me to realize this, or allowed me to actually do this, was that content does not need to be narrow. Now, I was stuck in the mindset that you had to talk specifically to your ICP and talk specifically to who you're actually wanting to work with in order to actually hit them with your content, right? You had to speak directly to my audience, but this could not be further from the truth. I went from posting content like I make fitness coaches rich, fitness coach 3x their income, 6-figure online coach exposes the truth about the coaching space. I thought that I would hit the people I want to by being specific, because I was afraid of getting other people to see my content, because I didn't want it to be sent out to the wrong people over and over and over. But all this did was hold me back from actually being able to step forward and reach the amount of people I needed to if I actually wanted to scale up and hit these higher months. So the algorithm will actually reward ideas, not niche language. If you are sharing an idea that is relatable to a wide audience, it will reach a wide audience. But if you're using language that's niche and only a few people relate to it, you aren't even going to get to those people because you're not giving yourself enough chances to. Your ICP will recognize themselves in the details. Broad content is going to get more people in. And the one shift that I did that nobody else is doing is what I call hyper-intentional content. And what this means is being hyper-intentional with every single piece of the puzzle. What I'm wearing, what I'm saying, the order in which I'm actually saying each word. And in doing so, I'm able to be broad at the start of the video, talking about things that everyone will relate to. And as the video goes on, get more specific. That way, the qualified people who are watching the whole video, when they get to the end, that's when they're actually going to follow. And that's how I'm going to be getting the qualified people alone. And using this methodology of going from broad to specific in the content, I no longer have to narrow down because the video does it for me. I no longer have to post super top, super middle, and super bottom of funnel content because every video can be top of funnel. And in doing so, I was able to get 4 million views, 100,000 views, 100,000 views, and have videos consistently go viral while bringing in more qualified people by taking content and having the beginning of it specific, or the beginning of it broad and the end of it specific. I stopped posting value altogether and I started showing my actual values, my beliefs, my morals, what I actually thought about the industry. And instead of teaching people, I just showed my expertise and I diagnosed the problem that they had and then sent them to YouTube for them to actually learn. So screw it, exposing my full 6-figure content strategy. I'm not actually teaching my content strategy in this video. I'm explaining the mindset shift that I had with content and then sending them YouTube to learn. I'm not trying to teach someone in a 60-second video because you can't. If you're the richest in the room, you're broke. I'm basically saying my idea on it. And instead of actually teaching this video, I'm sharing my own experiences, my unique viewpoints on the subject. So people are learning, but they're learning through experiences that I've had. This advice made me 45K a week at 19. It's positioned as top of funnel. Anyone will watch this, but as the video gets on, it's more and more specific. So the only people following are actually my ideal followers. And this doesn't stop here. The biggest thing that you can actually do in order to consistently go viral is by studying outliers, studying these videos that get exponential amount of views above the average, not just your videos, but others, and not just your competitors, but people in different verticals. Almost every single video I've posted that goes viral, none of them were from guessing. None of them were from just coming up with a video idea. Every single one of them came from data, it came from insights, and it came from someone else proving it, or my own content proving it will work. By studying outliers in different verticals, like if you're a fitness coach, mindset, right? Fashion, health, food, any of these different things, personal development, not just in your industry, because if you're copying your industry, then you look like everyone else. But if you're able to study what works in other industries and apply it to your own, a video that's already been proven, that is how you're going to go viral. And your clients are your best source of content ideas. Clients are going to tell you what nobody else can. So why would you go to anyone else other than the people who actually paid you already? Those are the people who know what content works. Those are the people who you should be asking for insights. Some of the best videos I posted came strictly from clients telling me exactly what they want to see, right? Sending me videos and saying, I would like if you post this. But the only way you're able to do this is if you have such a deep connection with your clients that they understand you'll go and bend over backwards for them so that they're going to do the exact same thing for you. And your job with content is to get the sale before you actually show up on a call, okay? Content should pre-sell someone. And if people are showing up to your calls with objections and not sure if they want to buy, not even sure really what your program is, then your content isn't doing the job. And what you need to think is, how can I do my content so well, or what can I show in my content that would allow me to completely remove sales calls as a whole? Now, obviously, you're still going to be doing these sales calls at this point, but that's the question you need to be asking yourself, because if you can answer that question and you can remove sales calls as a whole, the sales call then doesn't become a convincing, it becomes a confirmation. And that is what allowed me to actually have a 100% close rate in the month of February. So that brings us straight into the second one, which is going to be sales. How did I actually change my sales process to have me booking 2 to 3 calls per day, have a 100% close rate, and now actually raising my prices, and now raising my prices again? I'm going to be doing it just 4 weeks later. That's 2 price raises without my close rate dropping, and by booking more consistent calls. So I had a 90% or a 95% close rate now. We didn't close 1 out of the 20 calls, booking 2 to 3 calls a day, everyone showing up pre-sold, and charging up to $10,000 for my actual program. Now I'm able to charge this high amount because we have so much proof to back it up. And because the program is, I don't want to say guaranteed, but the people in it are getting wins faster than anybody else, because I've always put clients first. And because I prioritize clients first over the marketing, that's what allowed me to skyrocket so fast. We have other people copying our fulfillment. We have other people copying our sales processes. I'm able to confidently say out loud, and not even be upset about it, that I charge up to $10,000, $10,000 being our most expensive, because I'm so confident in my product, and because the people who show up to the calls are qualified. Because if they already know the price and they're still showing up, that means that they are going to be serious. So the first thing is that people buy belief, not deliverables. Your deliverables don't even matter. I guarantee anyone out there who's bought a program already, you don't even remember what deliverables they walked you through. What you remember is how confident you actually were that you would get results. And that's what matters. You need to stop selling the deliverables on the call, because it doesn't even matter. Nobody cares. What you need to be selling is belief. In our calls, I hardly even walk through the deliverables. We spend maybe like 1 minute walking through them. People are sold from the content beforehand. People are sold because they know I can actually get them the results. So the point of the deliverables is just to kind of confirm that, oh yeah, okay, I already knew you had this, but now I can actually see it on a piece of paper. You need to sell people on your beliefs, your values, and your vision for the program going forward, because that's what people want to be a part of. And Along with selling the vision, you need to sell a mission over anything else. My mission, I want to build the best program that has ever existed for coaches. And we are doing that. We have other people copying our fulfillment, other coaches who coach the same people asking me for advice, copying our content, and clients who have been in multiple programs before joining ours and saying it's not like anyone else. And the reason that this is happening is because people want to be part of the mission. They don't care what the deliverables are. And I'm so picky on who I actually take on. I will deny people if I don't feel like you are a good fit and you're actually going to put in the work, you're actually going to have the drive, and you're going to be good for the community. And this is why we have a community of people who they all love each other. They're all willing to work together. We have a lounge. It's like a 24/7 call. People are in there 5, 6, sometimes even 12 hours a day. We have Blake in there right now. He's been in there for the last 10 hours. And people join in, they talk, they work together. I join in sometimes. The point is that when you build a big community, people no longer just want to be part of the what they're getting. They want to be part of it as a whole. That's how you build something with long-term vision. That's how you build something that will actually sustain. Because in reality, the information is out there. Everyone knows the information is out there. And if you really want to, sure, you can get the results on your own. The problem is that it's going to take you a lot longer, and you don't get to be part of something that's just going to continue to get better. So by the time you learn half the stuff that you need to learn, other people not only learned that, but now they're learning the new stuff that isn't even on the market yet. And that's why you need to sell people on the vision and your mission over anything else. And instead of actually getting better at sales, you need to focus on content, because content builds trust at scale. Sales is 1-to-1, but content is 1 to infinity. And if you can sell people on an infinity level, you can sell an infinite amount of people, then why would you spend your time focusing on sales? If you're at the point where you already got some objection handles down, you have a decent close rate, and you understand the sales process, you need to stop learning about sales and you need to start learning about the next big problem, which is content. Content is going to be the number one thing and the number one skill that anybody can have. Now, I used to suck at content. I used to suck at it. But you have to force yourself to be an expert at it, because you're no longer just someone who helps people when you become a coach. If you want to scale up to the high numbers, you have to be a marketing expert. You have to be a sales expert. You have to be an actual 6-7 figure business owner. And in order to do this, you need to understand content. One of the things I absolutely hate is when people hand content off to agencies. If you have other people scripting your content, you have other people telling you what to post, until you're at the point where you can consistently go viral yourself, nobody should be scripting your videos or doing your videos for you. Content is the one thing that you should not give off, because it's the highest leverage lever you have, and you should be in control of what you're actually putting out there. Now, eventually you can get to the point where you have creative directors and you have editors and everything like that. That's good. But what's bad is putting it into the hands of someone else, because frankly, you're just too lazy to do it yourself. Now, content is allowing you to nurture people, and that's how you actually book people for the close. So the one way that I've actually been able to do this, I build attention with Instagram, and I send them all to YouTube. I make sure that every single time before someone hops on the call, they watch a minimum of 2 to 3 YouTube videos. 2 to 3 YouTube videos every single time. We have the VSL, we have a client interview, and we have something specific actually solving their problem. This is going to be one of the best things that you can possibly do in the sales process, because the sale happens not when you get on the call, but the most important part of the process is actually post-booking. After someone books, before they show up on the call, this is where someone decides if they're going to buy. If they're nervous and if they're not really looking forward to the call, they're not going to buy. But if they're hyped up, they're excited, and they can see that you're actually able to help them, there's no reason they will not close. And that brings us into the third section of all of it, which is actually mindset. Mindset is not this useless thing, or this thing that people only preach like when they don't have information. No, mindset is actually extremely important. Now, I'm not going to give you any motivational talk. I'm not going to give you like that. I'm going to give you the actual applicable things that I did with mindset that allowed me to get to this point. And I can confidently say, if I did not have these, and if I did not do these things, I could have all the information in the world, but it will not matter. So the first thing is that speed is the most underrated advantage in business. Nothing will beat speed. Speed to implementation. Speed, how fast you actually make decisions, how fast you actually learn. speed is number one. Because slow decisions kill momentum. If you take one day to make a decision, you've made 30 decisions in a month. Okay? But if you take a week to make decisions, you've made 4. So by the time you make 4 decisions and someone else makes 30, they've done 26 more decisions. And if it was that fifth decision that worked, they just had 23 times to double down on what works. So by the time they've already doubled down and now they're 100x what you are, you still haven't even gotten to what works yet. And this is why speed is the most important thing. And speed will beat strategy every single time. In reality, everything works. Every single thing works. You get to $1 million a year with ads, with organic content, with email marketing. But the one thing that you can't do is do it if you're moving slowly, or do it if you're continually switching your subjects, which is the second thing. Solve one issue at a time. One issue. I want to give you a little exercise. I don't remember if I saw this somewhere or if I came up with it myself, I'm not gonna lie, but this exercise is going to show you why you cannot multitask. Multitasking doesn't exist. What I want you to do right now is say the ABCs as fast as you can. But before you do, I want you to understand why. The ABCs is something that you are so proficient at that you don't even need to think about. Right? Everyone is so proficient about it even that when people are drunk and they need to be tested to see if they're sober, they'll have you say it backwards. Like that's how proficient you are at the ABCs. It is something that you're assumed you should be able to do. Now counting to 25 is the exact same thing. Now what I want you to do is say the ABCs as fast as you can out loud, seriously, while you're watching this right now. Ready? Go. All right, stop. I had to hang up on a client there. They don't know I'm recording. So now that you did that, on average, it should take you 4 seconds. Now what I want you to do is count to 25 as fast as you can. Ready? Go. Now on average, that should also take you 4 seconds. So 2 things that you're extremely proficient at. So proficient, you don't even need to think. Now what happens if you put them together? What happens if you do tasks back to back to back to back? Hypothetically, it should take you 8 seconds. But in reality, what actually happens when you do this is kind of crazy, and it's going to show you why multitasking doesn't actually exist. So what I want you to do now is go back and forth, A1, B2, C3, and beyond, all the way through the alphabet in 25. Ready? Go. All right, now you can stop because you should have been halfway there already. It should have been done in 4 seconds, but on average, it takes people over 2 minutes. 20 times the length. It takes 20 times the amount of time to switch back and forth between 2 things that you're hyper proficient at. So what do you think happens when you're moving slowly and you're going from task to task? Absolutely nothing happens, and that's the problem. You get nothing done. You literally get nothing done, and you are moving not just 20 times less efficiently, you're also taking all the time to not even lock in all the way, so you're not even working as efficiently. So you're probably working 40 times less efficient, getting 40 times less work done than you could. 40 times. And this is why I actually schedule out my days into 2 different types. You need a founder day and you need a management day. Now, what's the difference? A founder day is a day where you do just deep work. The only thing you're going to be doing is working on the business rather than in the business. You're going to be learning about content, right? You're going to be learning a ton. You're going to be building different fulfillment structures. You're going to be hiring. You're going to be you're going to be hiring, right? You're going to be doing all these things to work on the business, okay? Not in the business. You need to learn how to ignore fires if you want to get to 100K a month. What will take you to 10K a month, 20, 50, is not the same thing that will take you to 100. You can brute force your way to 50K a month, but you can't brute force your way to 6-figure months. Or maybe you can, but then you can't sustain it. So the problem is that people are doing everything every day. So why I actually have a founder and management day is because one day I'm focusing on the stuff that's actually going to push me forward. And then on management days, I'm handling fires. I'm taking calls back to back to back to back. I'm handling fires. I'm answering clients. I'm teaching, right? I'm doing all these little things that have to be done that like aren't very important, right? Things that you don't have your VA do, things that you don't have like any of your team members do, right? Because team members are needed to be at 100K a month. Things that they're not doing, like the busy work, that's what you need to be doing on these management days. So the reason you have 2 days is so your focus isn't split. You're focusing on one thing on each day. Deep work and handling fires. And doing this, that allows you to move quicker. It allows you to move fast. And moving fast and focusing on one thing at a time is what will scale you. So the moral of that part is that you can't multitask, so you need to stop trying. And the key to scaling to 100K a month, if you're stuck or if you are wherever you are, the key is to be hyper intentional with what you do and do it fast. This is the key to growth. And this is how I was able to scale to $100,000 a month, have a 100% close rate, hitting 20K days, and have other people literally copying every single part of my business at just 19 years old, and how you can do it too.